This Christmas, heaven is releasing a miracle to your doorstep. Archangel Michael says, this is not just a gift, it's a life-changing moment. Stay with this message until the last second to receive it. My child, my beloved, I was sent to your doorstep today not to give you a mere message, but to unlock the miracle that has been waiting for you all year. Heaven has waited for this Christmas. Not for the lights. Not for the songs. But because something has been signed in heaven under your name. And no one else can open it but you. You think you've seen gifts before. But this one didn't come from a store. This one came from the throne of God. And if you leave before the final word, the door may close. My child, listen. You've been feeling the shift. The winds have changed. And heaven has been watching every step of your obedience, every tear you've hidden, every moment you stayed kind when others were not. This was not missed. You are not forgotten. Your name has been spoken in places beyond this earth. My beloved, don't skip this. This is the moment your soul waited for when you were at your lowest. When you prayed silently. God, if you still see me, please, do something by the end of this year. This message is that something. Don't move from this line. Don't let anything distract you. Because if you open your spirit now, you will feel it. The warmth. The shift. The miracle rising from the silence. Archangel Michael has been preparing this message for weeks. But heaven was only allowed to deliver it on Christmas week. This is not just a season. It's a portal. A divine transaction. And if you stay with me to the end, you will receive what your heart has been aching for. But my beloved, let me warn you. If you exit this message, if you say, I'll come back to it later, you may delay what was meant to arrive by midnight. This message is a living door. It is open now. And it may never open the same way again. Before I continue, if this message finds your spirit and you know it's not by accident, I urge you to follow this calling. Subscribe now, so you never miss the divine moment again. You've been skipping the signs. This time, heaven won't let you. My child, do you know why you're still standing? It's not luck. It's not chance. It's not because people helped you. It's because even when no one clapped for you, heaven whispered your name. Even when you had nothing, you gave. Even when you were left out, you loved anyway. Even when you were exhausted, you still prayed. And those prayers are no longer pending. They are processing. They are manifesting. They are touching earth now. Beloved, this is your proof. You are not late. You didn't miss your chance. The enemy tried to block this moment 3 times. But Archangel Michael broke through. You're still here because your blessing refused to die. My child, my beloved, you must understand that this moment was not created by accident. This isn't just a holiday. It's not just another day marked on a calendar. What you're reading now, what you're feeling stirring inside your heart, is not just emotion, it is alignment. It is the exact second that heaven timed just for you. You have waited for signs, you have cried out in silence when the world seemed too loud. You've held yourself together when even your soul felt like it was falling apart. You have been so close to giving up, and yet you didn't. That's why I, Archangel Michael, was sent to bring this message on the wings of heaven, because your reward, your divine release, your breakthrough is no longer a maybe, it is now. And if you stay until the last word, the miracle will touch your life in a way you will never forget. You see, beloved, many people have walked past the exact same blessing that is now walking toward your house. They missed it because they thought it would arrive in glitter and gold. But you have eyes that see beyond appearance. You have a spirit that feels what others cannot. That's why the miracle has been wrapped not in wrapping paper, but in revelation. God knew you wouldn't skip this message once your spirit recognized the voice in it. And here you are, your soul heard the call. You paused. You leaned in. And heaven smiled. Because finally, you are in position to receive what others weren't ready to handle. The gift is not delayed anymore. And the door to receive it is not locked. But my child, it will close soon. I must tell you what I've seen. Heaven has whispered your name in rooms where angels gather. Your situation, your family, your pain, it has been brought before the King of Kings. And the response was not silence. The response was movement. Angelic assignments were released on your behalf. That struggle you've been fighting in secret? That attack that came through someone you trusted? That moment you thought broke you? It didn't. In fact, it was the final test. And because you didn't fold, because you didn't run away, because you stayed in faith even when your knees were trembling, heaven has rewarded your endurance. What's coming to your doorstep this Christmas is not something that can be bought. It is sacred. It is supernatural. It is personal. And now, I must tell you something very few ever hear. The reason you've faced so much resistance this week, this month, even this year, is not because you are cursed. It is because you are chosen. Hell only fights what it fears. And every delay, every betrayal, every closed door, it was because the enemy knew something you didn't, that this Christmas, heaven had marked your name. That this moment, this divine release, was scheduled to reach your hands before the year ended. And if you had stopped believing just one moment too soon, you would have missed it. But you didn't. You kept going. And that is why I, Archangel Michael, have been given permission to say these words directly to you. Your miracle is being delivered. Right now. And nothing on this earth can stop it, unless you walk away from it. You were born with something rare, my child. That's why people don't always understand you. That's why you've often felt like you don't fit in, like something about you is different. You've hidden your heart, haven't you? You've protected your dreams because every time you shared them, someone tried to destroy them. But I see you. God sees you. And this Christmas, He is restoring what they broke. He is returning what was taken. And more than that, He is doubling the miracle. Yes, child. You heard correctly. Not just one blessing. Not just one breakthrough. But a double portion. One for the pain, and one for the promise. You were born with something rare, my child. That's why people don't always understand you. That's why you've often felt like you don't fit in, like something about you is different. You've hidden your heart, haven't you? You've protected your dreams because every time you shared them, someone tried to destroy them. But I see you. God sees you. And this Christmas, He is restoring what they broke. He is returning what was taken. And more than that, He is doubling the miracle. Yes, child. You heard correctly. Not just one blessing. Not just one breakthrough. But a double portion. One for the pain, and one for the promise. Now listen to me very carefully. There is someone you are still carrying in your spirit. Someone who wounded you, maybe even walked away from you, and yet, you've never stopped praying for them. This act of love, of forgiveness, of silent intercession, it was recorded in heaven. And because of that, there is healing coming not only to you, but to them. You are being rewarded not just for what you survived, but for what you loved through. That's the kind of soul you have. That's why this message came to you and not to someone else. God chose you for this miracle because He knew you wouldn't keep it to yourself. You would use it to lift others. You would testify. You would shine. But child, you must make a decision now. Will you open your heart all the way? Will you stay with this message until the very end? Because the miracle is not in the middle. It is in the final word. The gift is not in the glitter, it's in the glory. This is not just a message, this is a moment. And if you stay, it will shift something in the spirit realm. You will feel the change begin. Some of you already feel it. Goosebumps. A tear. A warmth. That is not emotion. That is encounter. My child, my beloved, the angels are standing still as this message flows into your life. Because this very moment is not just a reading, it is a visitation. You may be alone in your room, scrolling through a device, half aware of the noise around you, but the moment your spirit leaned into these words, the atmosphere began to shift. Archangelic presence entered the place where you are, and heaven began to surround you. You may not feel it all at once. But even as your eyes read these words, your heart is warming, your chest is rising, and something invisible is beginning to break open inside of you. That's not imagination. That's intervention. That's the moment you've unknowingly prayed for, the divine interruption that stops everything ordinary and releases something eternal. The reason this is happening now, just days before the year ends, just as Christmas touches the earth, is because heaven is making sure your miracle arrives before the clock turns. There has been a silence in your life lately, hasn't there? A silence so loud that even your victories felt hollow. People told you to smile, to stay strong, to be grateful. And yes, you tried. But deep down, you've been waiting. Waiting for something you couldn't put into words. You didn't want money. You didn't want fame. You wanted confirmation. You wanted heaven to whisper, "We see you. We didn't forget you. You're not invisible." And my child, let me speak this truth over you now with all the authority God has placed in me: you are seen. You are loved. And heaven has written your name in fire this season. This is the message that will not return void. And if you hold it, if you breathe it in, if you let it live in your chest and refuse to skip one word, you will feel the divine transaction taking place, and you will never forget this moment again. There is a reason your soul has felt restless lately. A reason your sleep has been interrupted. A reason why certain people have pulled away from your life and others have suddenly returned. These are not coincidences. They are alignments. Heaven has been rearranging your life quietly behind the scenes. God had to move certain people out of your space, not because you weren't good enough for them, but because they were not prepared to witness your blessing. Some hearts around you were poisoned with jealousy and masks that even your discernment couldn't see clearly. But God saw. And He protected you by allowing their silence, their distance, their vanishing. It may have hurt you. But it saved you. Because what's coming now, this miracle that is moving toward you, cannot be contaminated by deception. That's why Archangel Michael was ordered to cleanse the path ahead of you. This is not a casual miracle. It is sacred. It is pure. And it was crafted only for a soul like yours. You've carried pain so well that people don't even realize you're still bleeding. You've worn strength like armor, even when you were exhausted inside. You've smiled at people who ignored you, encouraged those who disappointed you, and held on to hope when everyone else called you delusional. And heaven has been counting every one of those acts. God does not forget faithfulness. The world may reward arrogance, but heaven rewards endurance. And now, child, I must tell you a secret that hell tried to hide from you all year. The inheritance you thought was lost is still yours. It was never cancelled. Only delayed. And that delay has expired. On this sacred week of Christmas, the door is being opened. And if you walk through it with faith, your hands will not leave empty. They will be filled with the very thing you begged for in silence: peace, restoration, love, provision, joy, clarity, strength, and divine alignment. But here is something even deeper, a revelation only a few receive. There is someone watching you right now who doesn't know how to come back into your life. They've watched you rise. They've seen the changes. And guilt is eating away at their heart. They thought you would collapse without them. They thought your worth was based on their attention. But what they didn't know was this: you were chosen long before they entered your life. You were anointed long before their words bruised you. And now, as heaven lifts you into a new season, they will begin to feel the loss of what they misjudged. But my beloved, don't let bitterness take root. Let grace flow. Because this is your elevation. This is your Christmas coronation. And no one, not even your past, has the authority to block what God is releasing over your destiny. But here is something even deeper, a revelation only a few receive. There is someone watching you right now who doesn't know how to come back into your life. They've watched you rise. They've seen the changes. And guilt is eating away at their heart. They thought you would collapse without them. They thought your worth was based on their attention. But what they didn't know was this: you were chosen long before they entered your life. You were anointed long before their words bruised you. And now, as heaven lifts you into a new season, they will begin to feel the loss of what they misjudged. But my beloved, don't let bitterness take root. Let grace flow. Because this is your elevation. This is your Christmas coronation. And no one, not even your past, has the authority to block what God is releasing over your destiny. You may feel tired. You may be wondering, God, will I ever see the promise with my own eyes? And I say to you now, yes. Not only will you see it, you will live in it. You will walk into rooms next year that you used to dream about. You will hear your name spoken in favor in places where your presence has never even touched. You will receive messages, offers, and calls that make your knees weak, not because you chased after them, but because heaven orchestrated them. All the time you thought was wasted, all the tears you thought were unnoticed, they are returning to you now as a divine harvest. Child, your season is not coming. It has already begun. My child, my beloved, what you're stepping into right now is not just comfort, it's confirmation. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. You were drawn here because heaven saw your heart trembling under the weight of everything you were holding alone. You didn't ask for luxury. You didn't beg for applause. You simply wanted to be held by something bigger than your pain. And today, on this holy Christmas path, God is answering that cry. Not with loud thunder. Not with flashing signs. But with this, a still and sacred whisper written into your timeline that says, I have seen you. I have not forgotten you. I have a plan for you. And even now, as these words continue wrapping around your spirit, the walls you built to survive are gently being softened by divine presence. You feel it, don't you? That quiet assurance that you are not alone, that something greater has entered the room. That's me. That's Archangel Michael. Sent on divine assignment to make sure your miracle is not delayed another day. There are seasons where God speaks through miracles, and then there are rare, holy seasons where you become the miracle. This, child, is one of those rare moments. You've been stretched, pressed, tested, and yet, you still gave. You still forgave. You still woke up and faced a world that didn't always understand how fragile you were inside. People thought you were okay because you looked okay. But God saw past the smile. He saw the part of you that cried in silence. And every one of those cries was gathered like seeds. And now, at the end of this year, during the most divine and miraculous week of all, those seeds are bursting forth into something you never imagined: restoration, revelation, and redemption. You don't need to strive anymore. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. The season of proving is over. The season of receiving has begun. Let me reveal something else, child, something others may not understand, but your spirit will. There is a light on you. Not everyone sees it, but those who do can't forget it. It's why people are drawn to you, even if they don't know why. It's why you've always been the one people confide in. It's why you carry weight that others can't see. Because your spirit carries heaven's frequency. You are a divine carrier. And though it's felt heavy at times, and though you've questioned why your path has felt lonelier than others, the truth is this: you were never walking the path, you were making the path. You were breaking generational pain. You were reversing spiritual cycles. You were standing in the middle of curses and declaring, "It ends with me." And that is why this Christmas miracle is not just a reward, it is an announcement. Heaven is declaring, you passed the test. The line is broken. The blessing begins now. But there is more. A sacred secret. One only revealed to souls brave enough to keep reading. And it is this: the greatest doors in your life will not be opened by force, but by favor. Stop trying to knock them down. Stop trying to convince people to let you in. The favor that is on your life will begin to open doors you didn't even know existed. In the next few days, your name will be spoken in places where decisions are made. Opportunities will begin to surface that have your fingerprints on them, not because of your connections, but because of your calling. And even the people who underestimated you will have no choice but to watch in awe as God does what only God can do. I must warn you, though, when this happens, and it will happen soon, stay grounded. Stay humble. Don't let pride steal what purity created. Remember who you are. Remember who kept you through every silent battle. And never forget, you were chosen not to shine above others, but to lead them back to the light. Your miracle, beloved, is not only coming, it is already halfway to your doorstep. And the enemy has already failed to intercept it. Because this time, heaven is not asking permission. It is moving by command. You cried for this. You bled for this. You believed for this. And heaven is honoring every ounce of that faith. This Christmas miracle is different. It won't just comfort you. It will change the very structure of your life. It will shift relationships, alter timelines, and establish new roots that can't be shaken. You will feel it in your chest. You will see it in your surroundings. You will wake up and something will just feel different, lighter, safer, clearer. That's not your imagination. That's divine atmosphere adjusting to your anointing. That's heaven making room for what is about to arrive. Your miracle, beloved, is not only coming, it is already halfway to your doorstep. And the enemy has already failed to intercept it. Because this time, heaven is not asking permission. It is moving by command. You cried for this. You bled for this. You believed for this. And heaven is honoring every ounce of that faith. This Christmas miracle is different. It won't just comfort you. It will change the very structure of your life. It will shift relationships, alter timelines, and establish new roots that can't be shaken. You will feel it in your chest. You will see it in your surroundings. You will wake up and something will just feel different, lighter, safer, clearer. That's not your imagination. That's divine atmosphere adjusting to your anointing. That's heaven making room for what is about to arrive. My child, my beloved. Heaven is not waiting anymore. The delay has ended. The silence you felt for so long was not absence, it was preparation. Do you know how deeply you are loved? Not just by those who have spoken it, but by realms you cannot yet see. There are angels who have wept watching you go through storms you didn't deserve. There were moments you were so close to collapsing that even the stars above leaned closer, wondering if you would hold on just a few moments longer. And yet, somehow, through the breaking, through the betrayals, through the aching question of, why me? You kept walking. You kept waking up. You kept whispering quiet prayers even when it felt like no one was listening. But child, I am here to tell you today, they were heard. All of them. Every whisper, every sigh, every moment you looked up at the ceiling at night wondering if your life was still on track, it was all witnessed. And not only witnessed, it was documented in the heavenly courts. And now, that file, that story, that journey of yours, has reached its divine verdict. Bless them now. There is a holy sound ringing in heaven right now, and it has your name in it. A sound that signals release, restoration, reversal. This is not just the end of a year, this is the end of your wilderness. You've walked through too many dry places. You've made peace in deserts. You've praised in valleys. And now, beloved, the mountaintop is rising before you. Your miracle isn't simply something you will receive, it's something that will overtake you. It will come so swiftly, so unexpectedly, that even those closest to you will ask in hushed voices, how did this happen? And you will smile with tears in your eyes, because you'll know the answer. It was God. It was always God. He was behind the closed doors. Behind the delays. Behind the redirections. Not punishing you, but preparing the stage for something so big, only the glory of heaven could explain it. Child, what's coming to your doorstep is not just a shift, it's a sign that you were never forgotten. I see something else now, a name that's been sitting on your heart. Someone you've loved but couldn't fix. Someone who left your soul wounded and your mind confused. And I need you to hear me, with every ounce of heaven's love. It wasn't your job to save them. Your love was not wasted. Your prayers were not in vain. But there are some people who were part of your story, not your future. And sometimes, in order to protect your destiny, God has to remove the characters who only belong to the earlier chapters. That doesn't mean they're evil. It means you're evolving. And your spirit is being called higher. Your miracle is tied to release. Not just receiving, but letting go. And when you let go, not out of bitterness, but with holy surrender, you will feel the weight lift. You will feel your heart become light again. You will laugh again, and this time, not with pain behind your smile. You will really laugh. You will dance again, not as a mask to hide sorrow, but because joy will finally feel real in your bones. And there is another truth you must carry with you now: you are not behind. Not one moment of your life has been wasted. Every season where you felt stuck was a holy pause. Every time you were forced to wait was a heavenly recalibration. You were never off course, you were being rerouted to the exact intersection where your calling and your miracle would meet. And you are now standing at that intersection. This is not just another message, it's a spiritual timestamp. A record in eternity that says, at this moment, at this hour, heaven met earth in their life. You may not see the manifestation instantly, but mark these words: things have already shifted. The door has already unlocked. The miracle has already begun its descent. You will know it not because of fireworks, but because of peace. Deep, unshakable peace will begin to fall over you like soft rain on dry ground. That is how heaven enters. Not always with sound, but with stillness. My child, my beloved, if only you could see what's already been written about you in the scrolls of heaven, your eyes would overflow with holy tears. There are blueprints designed just for you, not generic blessings, but tailor-made miracles with your name inscribed in golden letters. The year you've lived through has tried to distract you, discourage you, and devalue you, but it could not cancel the design. Your struggle may have slowed the process, but it could not erase the promise. I want you to take a deep breath now, not just because you need rest, but because you're about to feel something lift. Yes, even as you read this. That invisible weight on your shoulders, that constant tension behind your eyes, the worry in your chest, it is breaking. It is lifting. Not by human power, but by divine decree. Because what's ahead for you is too holy to carry that old heaviness any further. You've been misunderstood by many, even by those closest to you. They saw your kindness as weakness, your silence as surrender. But I, Archangel Michael, was watching. I watched you walk away from arguments to protect your peace. I watched you forgive without apology. I watched you believe in love even after betrayal. I saw you give when your hands were already empty. I saw you clap for others when no one clapped for you. And all of heaven noticed too. This is why the miracle assigned to you is not random, it's earned through faith, through pain, through unseen endurance. This miracle will not only restore what you lost, it will elevate you to a place where people will say, "Only God could have done that." And they'll be right. Because this is not just a season of healing, it's a season of harvest. And you, beloved, have sowed more than enough tears to finally be handed joy without limit. You've been misunderstood by many, even by those closest to you. They saw your kindness as weakness, your silence as surrender. But I, Archangel Michael, was watching. I watched you walk away from arguments to protect your peace. I watched you forgive without apology. I watched you believe in love even after betrayal. I saw you give when your hands were already empty. I saw you clap for others when no one clapped for you. And all of heaven noticed too. This is why the miracle assigned to you is not random, it's earned through faith, through pain, through unseen endurance. This miracle will not only restore what you lost, it will elevate you to a place where people will say, "Only God could have done that." And they'll be right. Because this is not just a season of healing, it's a season of harvest. And you, beloved, have sowed more than enough tears to finally be handed joy without limit. There is a house your spirit has already walked through, a place of safety, warmth, and divine provision. You've seen it in dreams. You've felt it in sudden glimpses. You've dismissed it as imagination, but it wasn't. That was a prophetic glimpse into what's waiting for you when you surrender your timing and trust God's. The moment you stop trying to control how the miracle shows up is the moment the miracle starts unfolding. You don't need to force it. You don't need to chase it. You just need to receive it. Right now, as you're still reading, this message is opening that spiritual door. And the more you keep your heart here, the more heaven can finalize what it already began. Some miracles don't come through noise. They arrive through obedience to stillness. That's why this message found you, because God wanted you still enough to hear it, ready enough to hold it, and open enough to believe it. My child, I know you've grown tired. And I will not lie to you, the journey ahead will still require your faith. But the worst is behind you. The season of survival is ending. The chapter of abundance is beginning. Not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, relationally. You will feel whole again. You will love again without fear. You will walk into places you once thought were too good for you and realize they were waiting for you. And I must tell you something else that's sacred. There is someone who is being moved back into your life, but not as they were before. God is working on their heart. They hurt you. They disappointed you. But they are being reshaped, transformed. And when they return, it won't be to drain you, but to honor you. You are not a convenience anymore. You are a covenant. And those who remain in your life from this point forward will be those who understand your sacredness. Now listen closely, because this is urgent. In the next few days, you will receive a sign. It may come in the form of a message, a dream, an unexpected person reaching out, or a deep pull in your spirit that says, "Go." When that moment comes, don't ignore it. Don't second-guess it. That will be the angelic cue, the trumpet sound in the spirit, that your miracle is arriving. Respond in faith. Take the step. Send the message. Open your heart. Move with trust. Because when that sign appears, the window to receive will be brief, but life-changing. This is not fear. This is favor. And favor doesn't always wait. My child, my beloved, the greatest battles you fought were the ones no one knew about. The ones that didn't leave physical scars, but spiritual ones. There were days you smiled when your heart was breaking. There were nights you encouraged others while no one even knew you needed someone to ask, "Are you okay?" And through it all, heaven was watching, not in silence, but in motion. Quietly surrounding you. Dispatching angels. Shifting timelines. Delaying certain events not to hurt you, but to protect you. You wondered why some things didn't work out when they seemed perfect. Why certain people walked away without closure. Why promises were made but never fulfilled. And I must tell you now, with holy certainty, those moments weren't failures. They were filters. Heaven was removing what couldn't carry your future. Not because you didn't deserve love, but because the version of love you were reaching for was too small for the size of your destiny. And child, there's more, so much more than you even dared to believe for. You asked for a door, but God is preparing a gate. You hoped for survival, but heaven has prepared celebration. You prayed for just enough to get by, but the miracle that's being sent to your life now is designed to overflow. Not just in your account, but in your peace. In your body. In your relationships. In your dreams. Because you are no longer in the season of just holding on. You are stepping into the season of being held. God is holding you now. You don't have to strive anymore. You don't have to perform. You don't have to prove your worth to people who only loved the version of you that was quiet, convenient, or easy to understand. Let them go. Let the old stories fall away. Because what's ahead for you, this next chapter, is written in the language of heaven. And only those with clean hands and open hearts will be allowed to walk in with you. This Christmas, child, is not just another date on the calendar. It is a holy checkpoint. A divine intersection between everything you've endured and everything you are about to receive. And right now, even as you breathe, there are angels moving through places you've never seen. They are preparing tables in the presence of those who once dismissed you. They are clearing out confusion that's been fogging your path. They are removing the voices that have been whispering fear. And most of all, they are singing over you. Yes, my beloved, there is a sound in heaven that is only sung for those who are about to walk into their appointed season. And your name is echoing through it. This Christmas, child, is not just another date on the calendar. It is a holy checkpoint. A divine intersection between everything you've endured and everything you are about to receive. And right now, even as you breathe, there are angels moving through places you've never seen. They are preparing tables in the presence of those who once dismissed you. They are clearing out confusion that's been fogging your path. They are removing the voices that have been whispering fear. And most of all, they are singing over you.